You started your career as a tax lawyer, and then in mid of your career you switched to become a model. What actually switched you off?
It sounds very unfair what I'm about to say. In the modeling industry, it's not only about having the best looks, but also
Shanna Ayesha is a supermodel turned entrepreneur who has established many successful businesses in her life. She has a unique business that organizes events and parties for high-value clients from across the globe.
Which year you started the company?
4 years almost.
4 years.
Yeah.
And you sold it for?
For a lot of money.
For a lot of money. What is this company, high value clients? And how do you define value?
We create something that we like or we think people need, but you need to understand.
How do they go and approach these clients?
Okay, rule number 1. You're gonna ask these questions. The person will tell you exactly what they need.
What will be your advice for young entrepreneurs?
Don't go to a meeting and start.
The approach that you gave is totally very different from the approach which most of the people follow.
And that's why it works.
Also, one more thing, when you're a model, the natural transition is to become a movie star. Then why it stopped there and you became an entrepreneur? Hey Shanna, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Before we start this podcast, once again, I'll say that my pet name is also Shanna.
That's amazing.
So we both are Shannas today.
We are.
Yeah. So Shanna, let's get into your story. You started your career as a tax lawyer, and then in mid of your career, you switched to become a model. And you made modeling look so simple that you won the Miss Supermodel title in Netherlands. What really drew your inspiration to modeling, and what actually switched you off from being a tax lawyer?
Okay, I like this question a lot. So actually, I was never aspiring to become a model, but I liked the modeling industry, and it's very inspiring as a young girl to see all these opportunities and what the modeling industry can offer. But I had a professional career for myself as a vision. However, after studying and completing my education and getting that full-time job, understanding that is that all there is was not something that for me was quite complete. So even after my education, I used to get a lot of opportunities to do modeling, to come in magazines or to do photo shoots, or I was asked by Italian photographers. But I've always stayed away from modeling because I wasn't sure if it was for me, because I didn't like to be the center of attention. I was very shy and I just preferred to be in the background. But it kept coming back to me. So I thought, okay, this is something that I have to try out.
You are too beautiful to be a tax lawyer. Uh-huh.
Maybe. But I felt like, I believe in destiny, and when some things enter or cross your path like multiple times, even though you're not thinking about it at all, it must mean that you have something to discover. So it wasn't necessarily the modeling that attracted me, but to discover what I could do through modeling, because I had some figures that I've always looked up to, and I would love if I could inspire young women or young girls to be the best version of themselves. And I thought maybe by trying this, I can explore how I can influence people in a positive way with what I've done.
But modeling seems to be very tough if you go to see. There's so many girls or men who actually start modeling, and somewhere on the path they get destroyed. They lose their focus. You made it so simple, looks so easy of starting a new career and suddenly winning a title of, a supermodel title of Miss Netherlands in 2018, I think, right? 2018.
Correct. Yes, so it sounds very unfair what I'm about to say, but for me it hasn't taken that much effort because the opportunities always came to me. But what I did do in anything that is, if I go for something, I go all in and I give my 100%, and I make sure that I'm the best and that I will be a memorable person in this journey. And I think I was really able to do that and show who I am rather than just what I look like. And the most people that have encountered me also in the pageantry and the modeling industry, they always talk about energy and about connecting with pleasant people. And if I can leave a memory like that, it means that I was a good person to work with and they will work with me again. So in the modeling industry, it's not only about having the best looks or being your top tier when it comes to the looks, but also you have to have a top tier personality. And I think that's what really helped me to really break through in this industry, later on.
What about your family? because your family has spent a lot of money graduating you to become a tax lawyer.
Oh, yes.
And then overnight you said, okay, let's scrap this degree off.
Yeah.
And I'm done with these boring clients. And I need to see something different. A new world is waiting for me. And you didn't have any pressure from your family? What are you doing?
My family is very supportive. They did not like the fact that I was putting my professional background on the side. However, when you've completed an education like tax law, it's something that's very high in demand. So I told my parents, listen, in a worst case scenario, I can have a modeling career for 5 years. I can explore the world, do whatever I want, have an amazing career. And then in the worst case, I can always go back to being a tax lawyer, because I had very good experience and also very good companies that I've worked with even when I was doing my education. So I never felt scared about taking this opportunity. I rather saw it as always have something to fall back to. And I think when you have that mindset, you have that detachment, it allows you to create the best of the situation. Because going into modeling, I was not comparing myself to other women. I was not focused on if the company or the brand liked me or not. I was focused on showing who I was.
Superb. But also one more thing, when you're a model, the natural transition is to become a movie star. I mean, then why it stopped there and you became an entrepreneur? Where again the accounting and tax knowledge came into picture?
Okay, let me explain something first. So I have a very intuitive nature. So I follow my intuition. So whenever I like something, I go for it. And I do multiple things at the same time. So I was a tax lawyer and I was doing the pageantry at that time. And after I won the competition, I decided in order to open up more doors, I should focus on one thing fully. You cannot be a successful model and a successful tax lawyer at the same time and have 2 full-time careers. That doesn't work that way. So for me, it was really about finding what it is that I like and where I can get the best opportunities. So I like to explore things and try them out. And then if it works, I continue. If I don't like it or it doesn't work, I don't. So the entrepreneurial part, it's partially in my family. So my father is an entrepreneur.
What does he do? What does he do?
He had his own business in the taxi industry, so completely different.
Okay.
And he had a very negative perspective on entrepreneurship. So the mantra was always never become an entrepreneur, because it's not something that's stable, you know? So my family, they value stability.
Income is very volatile. There's no surety that today you will earn or you may lose.
Absolutely. But with the opportunities that I saw in modeling, there were a lot of models and a lot of influencers, and people were using that opportunity to get fame. But I saw an opportunity to monetize it. And that's when I started to get familiar with entrepreneurship and to discover, okay, what kind of business can I start? What can I do? And I had a lot of people following my journey and supporting me, which allowed me in a creative way to explore what I like and what I want to do. So that eventually brought me to
So the bloodline somewhere pushed you to entrepreneurship.
Yes, I had no choice.
Yeah. So then I think, which year you started the company?
It was actually a mental coaching company.
Okay.
This was my first company.
Okay.
So I was very keen on the law of attraction. When I discovered what the law of attraction was, that became my religion.
And it started in Netherlands?
Yes.
Okay.
And I wanted as much people to know about this. And I was educating people. I was making a YouTube platform.
When you say law of attraction, mean we are talking about affirmations and all?
Yeah, so law of attraction means that by affirming the future or whatever it is that you want to attract, you can create it. And it's more about becoming the creator of your destiny rather than...
I read this book called Secret.
Absolutely. That's the first book I read that really changed my outlook on life. So that is something that really influenced me to start to inspire as much people as I can. And that was like the stepping stone to my first company, where I helped people to transform their mindset.
So you did the coaching first of law of attraction, and then you started inspiring other minds, and you started, inviting a lot of students to join your course, right?
So simultaneously, I was using my social media platform to share this knowledge that I had, to inspire people that they can practice this as well. And it started to create a lot of professional attraction that people needed serious help. So that's where I saw the opportunity to leverage it and to make a business out of it, because time is money and 100%. I'd love to help everybody, but we have to do it the right way.
And then what happened of that, the coaching? It's still there or it's no more?
I sold the company
Oh.
last year, so it went very well. But at one point, I was looking for something where I didn't have to trade my time for money. So I did have other coaches on that platform working and performing the same service. But I felt like now in this time, there is someone that can be more dedicated than I am.
And how long you ran it?
I think like 4 years almost.
4
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
And you sold it for?
For a lot of money.
For a lot of money. Yeah. And you valued the company and then you sold it off.
Yes.
That's amazing. And then you moved on to a new company
Yes.
called High Value Clients.
Yes. Yes.
What is this company, High Value Clients?
So
and how
there-
do you define value?
Very good question. So value is about understanding what your value is in the market. When we create a company or we have an idea or we create a service, we create something that we like or we think people need. But you need to understand, what do the people actually need, and the customer profile that you're focusing on, what's valuable to them. So when we're talking about value in high value clients, it's about providing value to the top tier clients in the market. These are people that have a serious amount of wealth. They're not impressed by anything. They have a sea of choices. They can choose you and thousands of others that claim the same thing. So then it comes down to the fact that you have to be genuine, you have to create trust, and you have to have a super exclusive, true value that's not only valuable to you, but it's valuable to the client. And that's what high value clients is about, to discover how you can create true and exceptional value for others through your business.
So are you saying that, but don't you think the communication matters there? When I say communication means I'm referring to someone who understands the value of 500 dirham sunglasses will never understand the value of 5,000 dirham sunglasses. And I think that's where the communication gap comes in.
I don't think it's a communication gap. I think people can be price
When you
oriented.
say communication, I'm talking about understanding
Understanding.
of the
Okay.
product.
Let me-
Because
Okay, let me explain my vision on this. So an individual can be price focused or value focused. So even though if you have a specific budget, for example, you could still choose to make a purchase outside this budget if you see the value. So even individuals with a limited budget, they have the opportunity to make decisions based on value. However, that's very occasionally because most decisions are driven by the price. However, high value individuals, they have the capacity, so they have different options that they can choose from. And from there, they make the decision that suits their situation the best. So it's more about the individual and what drives them when it comes to their buying decisions.
so when you say high value clients, it means you're talking only from a value perspective. Now,
Yes.
value perspective, for me, I connect it with price.
Also, so it's two things. One is the price. So in high value, you work with premium pricing. So the price filters already a certain type of audience because maybe 80% of the audience cannot afford your product
Correct.
or your service.
Correct.
But there, in that 80%, there might be people that cannot afford it, but they will make the means or they will make it happen to afford it. So those are the high value clients in that pool. And then you have the actual high value clients
The
who
one
have
who was aspiring to be.
yeah. And even in the high value pool where people have the budget, some people are not a high value client because they have the capacity, but they don't have the values and principles that match with your product. Say, for example, if you sell an exclusive watch and this watch is for a specific type of profile, you're selling it to investors that have a love for art. You don't want people walking around with your watch that have no connection to art. So on that level, values and principles are also important. And that's also part of the value, to filter the right profiles that match with your product. It's not only selling what you have to anybody on that level, but only to the people, the selective few people that match with what you have to offer.
So where are these clients found? Are they found in the Bugattis? Are they found on the yacht? Or they are coming down from a private jet?
Also,
Where are they from?
Also,
And how do you figure them out?
it's not always true that, the people that have all the luxury objects, that they're the only audience that you can be selling to. But because there's a lot of wealthy audience that is not visible. For example, we have a network in the top 1%, and the people in this network, you cannot find them on social media. You don't even...
Exactly.
You don't even know maybe what they look like. They're
Correct.
very confidential, very secretive, but they have an enormous...
I have many clients like that.
they have an enormous amount of wealth. So I think the common mistake that people make is that they look for what someone has or shows, but you should look at the way someone speaks and the language they use and how they interact with you. You can learn much more from that than just by looking at what somebody has. And I think a lot of people lose time by focusing on a superficial element of the high value client. High value, as I say, it's the amount of wealth, but it's also the values and the principles. So if I have a company and I communicate through my company about values and principles, what will I attract? High value clients that have the same values and principles as me. But if I only show off with empty materialistic things and think, oh, that's how the rich people will find me, then I will get a lot of clients, but all of them will be nice and pleasant. I can tell you that. So that's why it's important, even on this level, to be as selective as you can, and it will make you more attractive, because if you're not easily accessible, then you increase your value as a business owner as well. And I think this is something that a lot of people oversee when they're trying to enter that high value market.
I will totally agree with you, because there was someone who had told me that, it's the value of your clients will be figured out on your own reflection. So if you are a cheap client, you'll find out cheap clients only.
Absolutely.
So I think it's your own reflection. How do you see this?
Absolutely. I have a beautiful anonymous example from something that I experienced in Dubai. So there was a real estate company and they were focusing on top tier clientele. So I had a meeting with them to explain that how through one of my services, I could help them to grow in that market and create predictable meetings with these individuals. And the person said, I will not invest until I see results. So how am I going to give you results if you don't invest? But at the same time, before that, he gave me a 30-minute explanation about how he attracts clients that don't want to invest. And I was like, yeah, 1 + 1 is 2. So he was attracting, as you say, the reflection of the client
His
that he
own
doesn't
personality,
want.
yeah.
But you have to, especially in entrepreneurship, take risks. Like if you have a certain result at the same time, you need to take a new action to get a different result. And if you don't see that, then you will be stuck in a certain point for a long time. And I think a lot of people, they don't see that when the opportunity is right in front of them, you have to recognize it and you have to take action, because thinking is not creating results. Negotiating is not creating results. When people ask me, like, do you provide discount? I say, no, I sell value, not discount, And this is very funny because in Dubai, people are very keen on this.
And that's where I always tell my staff that, that the worst customers are the ones who are cheap. And when you see cheap, the customers that keep negotiating, the customers that keep sucking your time, because one is they cannot afford our service. Secondly, we cannot give them the best service. And thirdly, it becomes a bad experience for everyone on the floor, including the good clients.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think 2 weeks ago, I closed an elite client in 5 minutes and 14 seconds.
Wow.
And that shows that people that are high value, they value their time. They don't value money. So within 5 minutes...
And also they're very clear with their decision making, I think.
Exactly. Within 5 minutes and 14 seconds, he told me, you tell me what you do, I tell you what I do, and then we can see if this is interesting. I explained what I did. He explained what he needed. We had a deal. I explained how everything works, and that the call was over and he went to the next meeting or whatever. He doesn't have time to negotiate. He could make a decision on the spot. And that's an elite client who understands time is important. And what he literally said to me is, I know that you guys can save me a lot of time and headache, so let's move forward. I didn't have to ask him, what is it interesting? What do you think about it? No, he told me.
Also, it comes out from that he does not have any limitations on his bank balance as well. It also comes out from there.
Yes, but that's not the case for every client on that level. So that's why you need to be able to filter people and ask the right questions as well and recognize their knowledge. Because sometimes you might encounter individuals, they have an unlimited bank balance, but they don't have an unlimited mindset, as I always call it.
100%.
So, but that's also available on that level. So that's why with experience and with understanding knowledge and communication, I do know that if you're talking to someone for 30 minutes, you will not be closing a deal with the person. Because, for example, most deals we close within 0 and 15 minutes, the deal is done. Because the people that we do business with, they
Wow.
don't have time to talk to me for 20 minutes. Within 15 minutes, they need to know what we do, if it's interesting, and if they want to move forward. And they're not going to have another meeting with me because, again, they don't have time to talk about the same thing twice.
Wow. I think this is really, really very valuable for our viewers. Now your company, now the company is established in Netherlands only? I mean, you started a branch in Dubai?
So we have an international presence from Amsterdam. So we're serving clients all over the world. But right now we're also opening a
So
branch
the
in Dubai.
primary objective of the company is focusing on events, mostly corporate events, I believe.
So I have two companies. So High Level Hospitality is a company where we provide hospitality for luxury events. These can be business-related events, private events where hospitality is needed, maybe a strategy for that day if they have a certain success that they want to attain.
Could be a brand launch as well.
Yeah, exactly. And for the high-value clients, it's really about providing the right strategies to companies, making themselves sustainable, or giving them a service where they can outsource meetings to get meetings with
So
high
if a
net
luxury
worths.
watch wants to,
Yeah.
introduce his product in this region, they come to you guys.
They can, yeah, absolutely.
And then you build the entire strategy for them in terms of launching the product, the corporate event, and also the hospitality around them, correct?
Absolutely. I have clients. One of my clients, she's a high-end wedding and event planner. So for all these things, I work with the best people in the market to provide a key core element that is necessary for a launch. So our expertise lies in lead generation, understanding the value, the proposition, presenting that, communication. I teach people about mindset, how to negotiate, how to communicate with the client, and then other aspects I have also business partners for.
When you
that
say
can
communicate,
support.
can you just break it a little bit for our viewers?
Yes. So I will.
So how do they go and approach these clients? Okay, they must have figured out this is a client. He values his time. He has access to unlimited wealth. He's looking for a product, and the product is with me. Now I am going for a meeting.
Yes.
How do I keep the meeting short, precise, and I bag that deal and walk back?
Okay, rule number 1, never talk too much. Just ask questions. You can never sell to someone if you don't know what they're looking for. So don't go to a meeting and start pitching for the first 5 minutes. Nobody's interested in you. People are interested in themselves. So if you understand this, when you go to the meeting, you prepare maybe 5 to 10 questions. You're going to ask these questions. The person will tell you exactly what they need, what they like, what they're looking for, and what their pain point is. And that's where you go in with the sale. And you can close the deal on
Don't
the
give your
spot.
perspective. Don't give your perspective.
It's not necessary. These people are high-level individuals. Do you think they are waiting on your perspective? Mm-hmm. They just need something from you, or maybe they're interested to hear what you have to tell. And if you want to make that meeting productive, it's about showing genuine interest, therefore asking the questions, then understanding the individual. So coming back with a communication that matches their level and their preferences. And if you do that correctly, yes, you can close a deal in a first meeting with a person, or they will continue a next meeting with you to discuss what they can do with you. But most people are focused on pitching themselves or their product, so there's no genuine connection.
So Shanna, I mean, when I meet some C-level employees, and they always say that we need to build a relationship first. I mean, does it even matter for these clients, the relationship, or really if we go and try to pitch our relationship and we say, okay, fine, the product will come as a secondary, second meeting or third meeting. Let me at least go and hang out with him, have a good relationship with him.
There's different approaches on this. So it depends on the culture, the market, your target audience, the age. These are all factors that influence like how you should approach it. But the insight I gave is just if I assume that you have a meeting where you're going to pitch something, that this is how you could approach it. So yes, the relationship is very important because
that's where the trust is built.
Exactly. People do business based on trust. When you're a high net worth individual, everybody wants something from you or to do with you. And you want to do something with someone that you trust and that understands you and respects your value and also your time. So once the person has the trust with you. From there, things can happen. But within these high net worth individuals, some people, they value time. So I'm talking about the top tier people that value time more. So these clients that, for example, come to us, they don't need to see me 10 times before they have trust with me or have a dinner to understand who I am.
Wow.
They don't have time for that. So it depends on the industry and who you're working with. But if we're talking about the super elite people that don't have a lot of time, then they have the capacity to make decisions fast. And this is something that truly defines an elite or top 1% client. They can see someone one time, just like me, and know, okay, this is the person, what the person is about. I'm not going to do business with them, or I am going to do business with them. And this is what I want to do with them. So if you take it a notch higher, you will definitely find the clients that don't need to see you multiple times. They can judge based on what they see and understand from you.
So how do you conduct your meetings, or how do you prospect your meetings, in fact? Because that's something which most of our audience, or most of us, want to do it, but they are unable to do it. Even organizations are pushing us, okay, you're the sales manager, go and figure out that HNI clients. Go look at for the top tier clients. We try, but we don't reach.
Okay.
How do you break that?
So,
or how do you prospect these clients?
let's say, for example, you're walking in Dubai Mall and you see this real estate booth and the person is trying to talk to you. What goes through your mind?
I mean, you just ignore him.
Exactly. And why do you ignore them?
Because that's my private space and I'm not ready for that conversation there.
Well, also because you probably know, as you say, you're not ready for the conversation. They're trying to sell you something.
Yeah.
So when an elite client is approached by a sales manager, they know the sales manager is here to sell something. So you should have a good strategy on through which layer in the company you approach certain individuals, or through which connections you get introduced. For our company, we've created 7 strategies to attract high-value clients, and we can tailor these to each company. If you're a luxury watch owner, if you have an IT firm, as long as you're selling like a high-level exclusive proposition, we can help you with these strategies so you can become self-sustainable. But what's most important is creating a trustworthy presence. So also your online presence should be, up to date, on point. You should show excellence, because if anything in your online presence that someone can have as a first impression is not all right, you will not get the meeting. So I think in a situation that you describe, if you're an middle market company and you try to target elite clients, but I can see that you're also targeting normal clients, I'm not interested because you don't understand me. So it's all about your presentation, your communication, and your approach. And using your networks, like when you get referred through your networks, this is not a strategy that you can rely on its own, but it's an effective booster once that starts working well with you. Because if I have an elite client and he sends me another elite client, I can close him in 2 minutes. Because
the trust is there and the trust is transferred, actually.
And the person already knows what I do, who I am. It has been confirmed by my other elite client. So from there, it's very easy. But you should have a right approach when you're approaching people the first time, and you should approach the right person, and you should have the right proposition. If the CEO is going to check your company and he sees something that he doesn't like or doesn't match with his values at all, of course he's not going to respond to your LinkedIn message. So this is where you need to look at the source and what you're presenting at the forefront.
Wow. And at this deep level, your whole team operates?
Yes.
Because you have a team, and the team is actually having that access to that database. And that's the secret database.
Yeah, so I don't like to call it a database, but it's of course data of high net worth individuals that we have, that we create confidential meetings with. So there are a lot of networks for elite people, and even on LinkedIn you will find them, and I post a lot of photos. But I'm really there for the people that want to be anonymous and successful. So our elite network is really for the individuals that are trying to make global connections with other countries, connect with other high caliber people. Because what's usually missing in these elite networks is that people can enter too easily. So we have a strict selection procedure before anybody can enter. so that the individuals that enter are who they claim they are active in their role, and they can contribute to the network and receive from the network. So that way, when we introduce people, we can matchmake them or make a precise matchmaking and make sure that there is value, because again, time is important. So I need to value people from whom I know that they can be a match.
So look at an example like suppose let's revisit that there's a watch launch, a premium watch wants to launch its product, and they give you this project. How do you basically filter in where is your target audience? Because I'm sure the high level client is looking for a high level result. So how do you target your audience? These are the audience that will actually come for this event. And there's a probability that 20, 30, 40, whatever percentage of people are going to buy this product, or it's at least going to convert into business.
So the first question would be is who is the right audience for this watch? A luxury watch doesn't mean you will be able to sell it to anyone. A certain watch has a style, it has materials. So understanding that watch, understanding the story of that watch, because you don't buy a watch, you buy an experience. So who is looking for this experience? And when you understand different profiles of high net worth clients, you can filter those high net worth clients that are looking for that similar experience, of whom you know that they will be attracted to something like this. And then when you make a launch, when you create that, marketing or presentation for this product, then you need to do it in such a way that there is a fear of missing out. When you're selling something exclusive,
and it's also limited
you're not
available.
You exactly, you're selling from the standpoint of exclusivity. So the better you are at presenting that and making the clients feel important, I think that's also it. If I'm a high net worth client and I'm invited to an event and I know I'm just being invited because somebody wants me to buy a watch, I will not be keen on buying the watch. But if they focus on the experience that they give me, that they make me feel special, that they have details in this event that really touch me, then I must buy that watch, because these people have done so much effort to give me this amazing experiences. I already love the brand. Even I just gotten to know it. So it's more about focusing on the experience and making people feel important, because you're selling to people, not wallets. And this is a big mistake that a lot of people make. They think, oh, I make a luxury product, I'm going to sell to some rich people and I'll be rich. And that's the end of story. But it's much more complicated than that.
Yeah, 100%. In the way that you said, you're selling an experience and you're not selling it to a wallet. This is a deep reply. And people will only resonate towards their experience and whether they find value in that product. Coming back, you could see a cheap client, walking in, or someone who's buying a wine. A high network client would have actually gone in the depth of, okay, from where this wine has originated. I would like to understand the depth of this wine or how long it was preserved before it's brought to the shelf. And maybe a cheap client would have just walked in and said, okay, what's the cheapest red wine? And may pick it up and may drink it and see the difference.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, I get your value from there. This is... See, for you, it's so easy. I understand that you're the front face of the organization. Is it looking beautiful and attractive is the only way to approach these clients? Okay. Or is it only purely value-based as well? Or is it attraction first and then they won't like to see your online presence of who they are meeting? And once you meet them, that's when the value is transferred.
Okay, so I like this question a lot because we have to address this. It doesn't make business easier.
Because you're a supermodel and it becomes very easy that a supermodel is coming to meet me.
Yeah, maybe are people thinking that. Maybe that could be why my business is going so well. No, I don't think people know that actually, because the most people that find us are through the networks and from LinkedIn. They don't even know that I was a model because this is not something that I actively present. I think for women that are attractive, it helps maybe to get a first encounter with someone. I cannot lie about that. But what happens from that first encounter is things can go two ways. It can go amazing, and that's when you're able to provide value based on your professionality, your knowledge, and your experience, and the person will see you as professional. But if you cannot live up to those standards, then as a woman you might become stuck in a different situation where people will just see you as someone beautiful trying to do something, and they will not take you seriously. So in general, just as in tax law, as a woman, you have to sometimes work harder to prove that you are valuable.
100%.
Because the first idea of people when they see you is she doesn't understand anything and she doesn't know anything. The only thing that in my scenario, it helps because we have a professional, presentation.
And you have an academic knowledge as well, which is the tax law,
Yeah.
And you understand the tax implications, you understand what is capital gain, and you understand so many other aspects of financial management.
And
That's where the value gets transferred also when someone is investing into your product or when you're providing a value in terms of giving a product on a corporate event. I think that knowledge really helps a lot.
Absolutely, and also how much people know about you before they meet you. So usually people, they visit my LinkedIn or they see some posts and they understand how I write about high value clients. And that's always the first thing that they talk to me about when we have a meeting. Like, I really like what you wrote and how you explained about high value clients, and this is what we need. Because a lot of people are struggling with, exploring this high value market, but not finding the right clients or encountering the difficult clients, not the ones that they're looking for. So I think if you...
Also because the people approaching them are not in line with the quality of the output.
Yes.
Because they're selling to them which the high level clients do not want it. Or at least they don't understand that.
Exactly. And most companies, they don't have a filter. So what I teach my clients is not to do more. I teach them to do less and to have higher standards. And this is how their business becomes more successful compared to what they were doing before. Because if you do the right things, it becomes very easy. Of course, you have to work hard and there are things that need to be done. But if you are selective, you will save yourself a lot of time. And as we discussed, time is money. So especially in business, if you're trying to sell to high value clients, not 1 minute of your time should be wasted talking to someone that doesn't match your principles and values. So you should have a good structure that allows you to filter before someone comes to you, before someone gets a meeting with you, to know that they are also valuable to you. You cannot know everything about them. And this is what people don't do. They take meetings with anybody for collaboration, for partnership. Not everybody is worth your time. So
it means you have valued me before you come here.
Yes, and actually explained to your colleague why I replied to the message, because what I really liked is that he gave me a specific compliment about my profile and my background. So I could tell this person has read something about me, has taken the time to understand who I am, and I respect that. So then I have to reach out, and this is exactly a good example of how you should
Thank you
approach
so
someone
much. Yeah,
successfully.
thank you so much.
Yes.
Coming back to the subject, I mean, where do you conduct most of your events, in Dubai or across the globe?
Across the globe, but definitely Amsterdam, Dubai, UK are very, big cities and centers where a lot of events are hosted. So it's a big attraction point at the moment. So we also look at what regions are attractive now. And in the high value market, you have to be adaptable, you have to be flexible, and you have to understand that you have to be where it's relevant. So this is how we also help the clients depending on their proposition, where they should host an event. For example, for fashion, you could choose Paris. That's also a very good place to present certain brands. But Dubai has been attracting a lot of luxury, of course.
As of now, I mean, currently you see it's a home for a lot of H&I clients. Dubai has been a home for a lot of H&I clients. And of course, from that aspects, this becomes a principal place of operations for you. Either to take them overseas or to launch another global brand in Dubai, because I think most of your clients sit in UAE.
Yes, so let's say that what I noticed is that there is a lot of international people coming to Dubai, and these are usually the people that are trying to set up new brands or make brands that are successful in other countries here as well and have a setup. So I think there's a lot of opportunities inside Dubai, but also a lot of opportunities by targeting the people outside Dubai that are looking to come to Dubai. And if you find what's the best match for you, then you can really work on that and make that your success point. Because even in Dubai, having a luxury brand, you should have a focus. So for us, what we see is that people find us through social media platforms and through references. But I noticed the most attraction we get from international people when it comes to our network, and when it comes to services to get high net worth clients, it's usually the people that are already established in Dubai. They have a company for at least 5 years and they're familiar with the market and they're comfortable to invest.
So which are the industries that you primarily target? I mean, are they residentials, apartments? I mean, are they villas? I mean, maybe in the real estate space, maybe in the cars, are they in the automation, or maybe in the watches?
So we are in different industries, from very sexy to not sexy. So it's from luxury brands like luxury cars, watches, to IT, to renewable energies, biotech, also AI and crypto, because we also have a lot of, elite clients that are working on projects and they're looking for financing for these projects. And they come to us because they know we have that elite network with these high caliber people that can make investments. So Dubai also creates a lot of attraction for different industries. So I am not limited to an industry, but I filter my clients and my projects through the structure.
And that's where your knowledge also it helps your business, because especially when it comes to investment and being a tax lawyer academically, you can read things beyond numbers.
That's true. Thank you.
I mean, of course, it plays a very important role. I mean, especially when doing any mergers, acquisitions, or maybe doing any investment deal. I think your tax law experience or even the financial experience helps you a lot. And that's where the client finds value. One is, I mean, the communication that you speak and the value that you bring for him.
Yes, I agree. I think people really can appreciate it when they're talking to someone that understands what they are saying, like from a value perspective, but also from a professional perspective. And this helps to smooth the process and to create the trust faster. So I do think it's a factor that helps. And I love connecting and talking to people. So I have people in a business that operate the business, and I'm the face of the brand. I make the connections at the forefront. I do the fun stuff.
Let's take an example. You know that Dubai is, the top industry in Dubai is real estate. And you see there are a lot of waterfront apartments, waterfront villas that's been launched. And most of them are like about everything that's above 50 million and above dirhams I'm talking about. And if some of your clients are, or maybe some of the developers are looking to launch their product, maybe to your high network clients, then how do you place that strategy, or how do you give a strategy to them, or how your costing works?
I see. So in this scenario, usually,
do you charge a performance fee, or do you actually charge a fixed fee?
I charge an upfront fee because I value my time. So when people buy anything from me, they're getting an expertise, and the expertise allows them to save time, save cost, and create more revenue. So this is really what they're buying. So we don't have an approach where we focus on certain projects and we only get a success fee. We have an elite network. People go through the measurements to become part of the elite network. So there's also a fee included to become part of this network. Once they're in the network, that's when we do business. Why? 2 reasons. People have been selected to become part of the network, and they've proven their exclusivity to our measurements. So it allows them to take us seriously as well, because they had to do some steps in order to get in that network. Because if you don't, and you just give your service for free or with a success fee, nobody's going to value my time.
Absolutely.
And there is too much people in the market doing that. And I would never want to be compared to someone that's giving their time away for free, because I do value my time.
So it means this network, the one which you're running, it's a membership club?
You could call it something like that. Yes, it's an elite membership club.
And
where
we need to, if someone wants to to be a part of it, he needs to apply it. There's an evaluation form. You will evaluate his profile, understand whether he's going to fit that network. What are the criterias?
Yes. So
I mean,
yeah, it's correct what you say. People can fill in a form,
yeah,
and
because
we
would like to know the eligibility of such a elite
Yes.
club.
Okay, so the first criteria is that you have to have a high net worth of 1 million US dollars. That's the minimum. So it goes up to people that have a worth of 800 million US dollars. But that's a minimum requirement. And then the second is that the person has to be active in business. So they need to be able to contribute to the network and receive from the network. You know, don't only come in the network to take. You come also to give. So this is what we ask when they fill in the application. What can you bring to the network? What value can you bring? And the third thing is the individual. You know, what type of individual is it? What business are they in? What is their background? So I also want people in this network that have an impressive background or an exceptional background, and preferably someone that has also like a business venture that they're working on, so they can connect with like-minded people. So the roles that we attract are CEOs, high net worth individuals, and elite investors. These are the three main roles, and there are key decision makers, but we really try to target like the heads of big organizations and the investors with a high caliber. So there are many networks with investors, for example. Our investors start with an investment capacity from 10 million and more, and up to more. So that's why a lot of, as you say, the companies that have these high value propositions, they come to us and I say, okay, I can help you, but this is my deal and this is how I work. And that's how you also keep that exclusivity and that value, because you have to respect the elite people as well that you have in the network. If I keep presenting things to them without filtering, or the people haven't paid a price to be presented to these people, then you know, they're not getting exclusive opportunities
100%.
anymore. So I need to keep that value as high as I can for my network, because I want them to respect me and keep respecting me. And I don't want to break that trust that we have created with them.
What will be your advice for young entrepreneurs who would like to, who's actually, launching any product of theirs? And what should be their approach? Because the approach that you gave is totally very different from the approach which most of the people follow.
And that's why it works. So,
I mean,
yeah.
because it's a very niche network, you know. I mean, niche, you could say, approach
Yes.
that you're following. And most of us, you know, follow a very common approach of, fine, just get as many customers as possible. Then see what services they are buying from you. And then if you have advanced a little bit, then you see how to categorize them.
Yes, so the thing is, we approach things from premium business perspective. Premium means that you focus on the top 10% of the market. You create a product that is focused on value. So you're not competing on price anymore. So it's goodbye to the 80% of competition. You've surpassed
Wow.
that. So when you really focus on that value, you can also attach the premium price, meaning you attach a price starting from 20K US dollars. So what do you think is going to happen if you sell products or services from 20K? You're going to make a lot of profit, and you need less clients to make a lot of profit, and your company will be more sustainable. Your chance of survival is higher. You have more budget to hire a qualified team that can help you grow your company. Everything gets better at the top. And that's why I love this saying, competition is only at the bottom. People at the top make money together.
Wow. I mean, this is so insightful. I mean, I have to say that this is so insightful. I think you would like to ask something. I mean, really thank you. And I think thank you, Shanna, for being on the show. I think this is a very big learning for a lot of our audience who's actually focusing on a daily basis. They are hustling. They are pushing every day and struggling. And yet they are not able to give value to their client. And the value sits in more of not only about hustling with everyday's client, but it's also about figuring out who's your client, whether he fits into your ecosystem or no. And I think that is what we learned from you.
Thank you.
I mean, it was really insightful, and I think I really loved the show. Thank you so much, Anna. I mean, really thank you for coming.
Yes, thank you for having me.